Are you considering applying for a master's degree in the US? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to apply and what you need to do to increase your chances multifold of getting accepted into the program of your choice. And watch this video till the end, as I have discussed everything that you need to know about admission to the US. Well, hey everyone, my name is Shirish, and if you are new to this channel, I'm a TEDx speaker and entrepreneur with 3 successful companies. And I've done my MS in Computer Science from the US and worked with the top investment bank UBS Financial, and then started my company to help students with career and college admission. Over the last decade with my company, we have delivered top results with students getting admission to Harvard, Stanford, MIT, Oxford, and all top universities across the world. And I have been featured on national television shows on Z News, and my articles have been published in top international magazines. I have met with almost all the admission officers myself and have done a college admission program from UPenn on how to guide students for college admission. Well, in short, on my channel, you will find strategies and tools that work. And I have been using these strategies with thousands of my students for over a decade with huge success. And I understand, applying to a US university can be daunting, but don't worry. I'm going to show you everything you need to know so that your application stands out from the rest. Make sure to like this video now, because in case you don't have time to watch this entire video, you can come back to it later through the saved videos. Now let's hit it up for this video. Hi, I'm Shirish Gupta, and I empower people to hack their success, rise above the challenges, and confidently create an extraordinary life they deserve. Well, thinking of studying abroad, whether it's the right thing to do or not? Well, let me start by talking about the benefits of studying in the US. There are a lot of great reasons to study abroad, and in fact, these are some of the things that I have experienced myself through my education in the US. The few things to consider are, number one, it's a great way to meet new people. Well, when you study abroad, especially in the US, you'll be spending a lot of time with people from different cultures and backgrounds. You will learn about new customs and ways of life, and you might even make some lifelong friends. Well, the next one is it will help you learn more about yourself. Now, studying abroad is a great opportunity to step out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. You'll learn more about your strengths and weaknesses, and you might even surprise yourself with what you're capable of. This is a big one. And actually, a lot of parents, they tell me that my kids are not mature enough to handle themselves. It's because they haven't got the exposure. Most students transform in just 6 months from starting their education in the foreign country like US. Well, the next benefit is it's an investment in your future. A US education can help you stand out of the competition when it comes to apply for jobs or graduate school. Employers and admission committees will be impressed by your willingness to take risks and embrace new challenges. Well, of course, there are a lot of reasons and benefits, but these are the top 3 for this particular video. Well, now let's just talk about what can you study or different types of master's degrees that you can do. Now, there are many different types of master's degrees available for you to study in the United States. The most popular types of master's degree is the MS in the US, which stands for Masters of Science. This type of degree is typically awarded after completing a 4-year undergrad degree program. Other types of master's degree include the MBA, which is a Master's of Business Administration, and an MD, which is basically Master of Medicine. There are also many specialized master's degree available, such as MS in Marketing or MS in Data Science. Well, no matter what type of master's degree you are interested in, there are plenty of options available to help you reach your goals. Now, one thing a lot of students are not sure about is how to apply to US universities. And for this, let's understand US college admission system first. The United States college admission system can be a confusing one and daunting task for students from around the world. With over 4,000 colleges and universities to choose from, it's no wonder that many students feel overwhelmed and lost. Generally, the US has 2 main intakes: fall semester, which is August-September start date, and this is the biggest admission cycle. And then there is spring, which is January intake, which is almost 50% of fall. And then there comes the third one, which is summer intake, which is very less, maybe 20% universities offering summer start. So the main admission cycle is fall. Now, to apply for fall intake, you must apply a year before your start date. So if you're applying for fall 2023 or 2024, you need to start a year prior. To apply to some of these deadlines, you must have at least 3 to 6 months of application prep time. This is because you might have to take GRE or a GMAT, and you will need 2 to 3 months of prep time and about 2 to 3 months of application time bare minimum. Now, if you're planning to apply to top universities like Ivy League, you must give yourself more time actually. Now, when it comes to applications, again, there's a lot of confusion and a lot of requirements. But I generally advise 4 main factors that you need for admissions. And these 4 factors are, number 1, academic grades. It's predominantly your school and college grades. Next comes test scores, that is your GRE, GMAT, IELTS and TOEFL scores. Next is profile. Everything that you've done outside of your curriculum, that is your profile. And next is applications, that is your SOP, LOR. Now let me take these factors one by one. Let's start with what academic grades are required for admission. Academic GPA requirements for admission to American universities can vary depending upon the school and program you're applying to. For example, most universities have a minimum of 3 GPA requirement out of 4. And if you are not sure about your GPA, you can actually use a service called WES to evaluate that. 3 is minimum required. For most top universities, you can be as close as 4 GPA. In general, that's about 70% or above 7 CGPA in other conversion scales. College admission is a competitive process, so a strong academic record is important. But so are other factors such as your test scores, letter of recommendation, and personal statement. Ultimately, the best way to improve your chances of admission is to put together a well-rounded application, which I'm going to talk about in detail later. Make sure to check with individual colleges and universities to get their specific requirements. Now, that was factor 1 of academic grade. The next one is to understanding the exam requirements for admission. Well, there is no one-size-fits-all answer, honestly, to this question, as each university has different requirements for admission to its master's program. However, there are few tests that are commonly required for studying in the US, such as GRE, which is Graduate Record Exam, or GMAT, which is basically required for MBAs. Then you also need IELTS or TOEFL, any one of them, that is an English proficiency exam. While some universities may only require one of these tests, others may require multiple. So if you are hoping to study in the US, for your master's, it's best to research the specific requirements of the school you're interested in. That way, you can be sure to submit all the necessary tests and material for your college application on time. My advice, if you are applying for an MS program, GRE is preferred. Whereas for an MBA program, GMAT is preferred. You need to take any one exam between IELTS and TOEFL. Well, I personally prefer TOEFL. Okay, now let's move to factor number 3, your profile. And this is so very important. Understanding what a profile is for college admission is really huge. Profile building is one of the most important things you can do while applying to colleges in the United States. Now, many students think that only their grades and test scores matter for admission, but that's not the whole story. Colleges want to see a well-rounded student, and that's where profile building comes in. Profile building can include things like taking challenging classes, participating in extracurricular activities, volunteering in your community, and all sort of things. So it's important to demonstrate to college that you are more than just a good student. You're also a well-rounded individual who will contribute to the campus community. So don't neglect profile building as you are preparing your college applications. It could make all the difference in whether or not you're admitted to your dream school. Now, your profile is a gateway for universities to understand who you are as a person. Very important. Why you do what you do, and how have you grown in the last 4 years. All these can be shown through good profile. If you're unsure, you can use a profile evaluation tool that I have created to get a detailed overview of your profile. It's one of the most comprehensive tools in the market, and it's absolutely free to use for you now. So make sure to evaluate your profile after this video. Now, the next factor is applying. And I know this too is a big one. Now, understanding your applications is very important. There are effectively 2 parts to applying process that I've done. One is the application part, like university shortlisting, filing online applications, submitting documents required for admission. That's basically all the applying part. The second part is all about your content part, like SOP, LOR, essays, resume, and portfolio. Now, let me help you with each part. Let's start with application part and how to shortlist universities first. Now, when it comes to deciding where to study for your master's degree, there are a lot of factors to consider. But if you're looking to study abroad in the US, the process of choosing a university can be even more daunting. After all, there are hundreds and thousands of schools to choose from. So how do you go about narrowing down your options? First of all, it's important to decide what type of program you're looking for. And this is something I talked about at the beginning of this video also. Are you interested in a specific field of study? If so, that should be your first criteria for choosing your school. Once you've narrowed down your options based on the subject matter, you can now begin looking at other factors like location, cost, and school size. Another important consideration is whether or not you want to study in a big city or in more rural area. Well, each has its own pros and cons, so it's important to think about what sort of environment you thrive in before making a decision. Finally, once you've got a list of potential schools, it's time to start doing your research. Read up on the programs each school offers, their admission requirements, and the life on campus, very important. With a little bit of effort, you should be able to find a perfect school for you in no time. And if you're looking to study abroad for your master's degree, there are a few things you'll need to take into account. These are the things we do in my company to help our students. So first, you'll need to make sure that the university you're applying to is accredited to both the country it's located in and in your home country. This can be a bit of a research, but it's worth it to make sure your college degree will be recognized. Second, you'll need to take into consideration the cost of living and tuition because you're looking for another country. Make sure you have a realistic idea of your budget so that you don't find yourself struggling. Finally, you will need to make sure that you meet requirements for admission into the college or university of your choice. Each school has different requirements, so make sure to do your research before you apply. By taking these steps into consideration, you'll be well on your way to successfully completing your master's degree abroad. Okay, now let me talk a little bit about the cost of education and scholarships as well. So for students who are willing to hustle, there are plenty of ways to make getting a master's in your US more affordable. Now, scholarships can help cover the cost of tuition, living expenses, travel, and other educational expenses. There are scholarships available for students from all countries and at all levels of study. In addition to scholarships, many schools, they offer financial aid packages to international students. Financial aid can include grants, loans, and work-study programs. If you're an international student interested in studying in the United States, be sure to research all the scholarships and financial aid options that are available to you. I have done many admissions with 100% scholarships, and it is possible with good research and guidance. Perfect. Well, now let me talk about the main thing, SOP, a statement of purpose. Now, SOP in the context of applying for graduate school is an essay. That's one of the most important parts of your application because it tells the admission committee who you are, why you are applying, why their program is right for you, and what you are going to do with your degree after you complete. The statement of purpose is usually 1 to 2 pages long and will include specific information about academic achievements, research interest, future plans, and why you are a good fit for the program. Now, when writing a statement of purpose, it's important to be clear and concise. Make sure your SOP is well written and free of grammatical error. You can also check out my video, which is entirely dedicated on writing the ultimate SOP here. So now make sure to watch it after this video, as I have packed the best strategies and pointers to create an ultimate SOP that works every time. Yes, I say it, SOP in 90 minutes. If you're applying to study in the US, your statement of purpose will be very different from what's expected in other countries. In the US, admission committees place a lot of weight on research experience and publication. So if you have any relevant experience or publications, make sure to highlight them in your statement of purpose. Also, be sure to explain how pursuing an MS in the US will help you achieve your long-term goals. Overall, your statement of purpose should give the admission committee a good sense of who you are as a person and a student, and as well as what your future plans are. By following these tips, you can write a strong statement of purpose that will improve your chances of getting admitted to the graduate program of your choice. And again, watch my video on the SOP for more details. Alright, so after SOP, let's look into LORs. Now, a letter of recommendation is a letter written by someone who can attest to your character and abilities. Simple. Colleges often require letters of recommendation as part of their admission process, so it's important to know how to write one. Keep in mind that a letter of recommendation is not the same as letter of reference. A letter of reference is written by an employer or another academic institution and simply summarizes your skills and experiences. A letter of recommendation, on the other hand, is more personal letter that describes your character and why you would be a good fit for the school. If you're applying to graduate school, you may also need to provide letters of recommendation from people who can speak to your academic abilities as well. Now, when asking for letters of recommendation, always give the person plenty of time to write it. Oh yes, very important. And make sure to send a thank you note afterwards. Letters of recommendation can be a powerful tool, but only if they are well written. Now, once you have all the content work ready, next is applying. The application process will vary depending upon the school. But generally, you will need to submit an application form, transcripts, letter of recommendation, and an essay. You may also be required to take an English proficiency test such as TOEFL or IELTS as described earlier. After you submitted your application, all that's left is to wait for a decision from the admission committee. If you are offered a place in the US college or university, congratulations! You're on your way to an amazing experience actually. Now, I also want to talk about interviews or portfolio requirements. Now, some schools have interview or portfolio requirements, so make sure to check that as well. If your program requires an interview, you must prepare in advance. Now, most MBA programs will ask for an interview. And in fact, most management-related programs, they look for an interview, even if it's an MS degree. Most course-based MS programs, they do not require an interview. Whereas if you're applying for a research-based MS, then interviews are required. Now, let's talk about the offer letter. After you've completed the entire application process, next is to wait for your offer letter. It generally takes about 2 months or more to get the decision on your applications. This time can be less or more depending upon the university you have applied for. And once you get an offer letter, you need to work on the post-admission process of accepting the offer letter with a small deposit fee, followed by the financial documentation submission to get an I-20 certificate, which is an immigration document for your visa purposes. If you're a domestic student, then you don't need any such document. Now, to get an I-20 document, you must show a 1 year of tuition and living expenses in your bank or through a loan. Once you submit the official financial document to the university, you will get the I-20, and then you need to apply for the student or F1 visa in the case of US. And once you get your F1 visa, you're all set to fly and start an amazing chapter in your life. So this was the whole process of US college admission. Well, I'm sure you must have enjoyed this video. Make sure to comment below if you have any questions. I'm with you on this beautiful journey of college admission, and I'll be back soon with another amazing video. Till then, take care and happy applying.